make a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
What's up, everybody? This is Tom Taylor with South China Morning Post. I'm joined today by the man behind one of the fastest growing combat sports organizations in the world, BKFC president David Feldman. David, how are you doing today, man?
What's up, Tom, man? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. Let's plunge right into this. I'm going to start off by throwing you a total curveball and asking you about a fighter I'm sure you haven't spoken about at all over the last 24 hours, Paige VanZant. Jokes aside, I mean, news surfaced yesterday that you guys have signed Paige. This is a huge moment for you guys. Can you kind of walk me through how this happened? How did Paige end up signing on the dotted line with BKFC?
Yeah, actually, our commentator, Sean Wheelock, who's actually going to play a bigger part in the organization moving forward, has did some things with Paige in the past and thought it was a great opportunity for us to talk to her. And we just talked, and we made it happen, man. I mean, it was amazing because she's not only is she's a very popular UFC fighter, obviously, but she's mainstream. I mean, she's an A-lister. She really is. Like, for instance, she had Demi Lovato post and said, "I didn't think you could get any more savage than you already were."
Fantastic. Would you say this is the biggest signing in BKFC history? I mean, where does this rank in comparison to, say, Artem Lobov or Paulie Malignaggi?
Yeah, look, Artem and Paulie did phenomenal for the company at the time that we needed them. It worked for us. It helped us turn the corner. I'll always take my hat off to Artem Lobov for his fight with Jason Knight. And Paulie Malignaggi, obviously, very, very, very well known in boxing, had his conflicts with Conor McGregor, and it worked for us. But this, I think, like I said, I think she's more of an A-lister. She's more well known and widespread well known. So I think it's definitely our biggest signing, and it's great to be working with her in not only in fighting but in other things that she may do with her organization as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, when Paige was wrapping up her UFC contract, she made no secret of the fact that she wanted to test free agency. I spoke to her myself before her last UFC fight, and she mentioned that, as she was looking for a new home, one of the things she was looking for was an organization that would really, work with her and allow her to pursue other things outside of fighting and kind of really leverage her brand in other ways. I'm wondering how BKFC intends to help her do that.
Yeah, we absolutely have plans of doing that. I think we're going to add her into possibly a commentating role or an interview role. Definitely get her in front of the camera. She belongs in front of the camera, so it's going to be a great place for her. She's also a great promotional tool, as you can see with her 4 million plus followers she has widespread through social media. So she knows how to promote. So we're going to utilize her there, and I think we're going to do some little programs with her to really help build her brand.
Flipping back into the earlier chapters of the BKFC history books, when you guys were just kind of getting a foothold in the industry, you signed Bec Rawlings, who is, of course, another UFC veteran who actually lost to Paige in the UFC. And you guys gave her a big push right out of the gate. She ended up winning a belt with you guys. People kind of knew her as the queen of bare knuckle. Can we expect a similar trajectory from Paige? And, might she kind of assume that mantle as the queen of bare knuckle?
I mean, we're going to see what happens. I mean, this is a different animal. This is a different animal than anything's ever been out there. We're obviously going to get our feet wet first, and then we're going to climb up the ladder a little bit more with tougher opponents. But our goal is obviously we sign a name like Paige VanZant is to make her the featured female fighter of the sport, not just of our organization, but of the sport. And hopefully we can get there with her. I think it's a great opportunity. As you saw, we did with Bec Rawlings, who she was on a losing skid as well from the UFC. Didn't have as much of us following as Bec, but she was on the front page of USA Today. Many other publications. The good thing about our company and the team that we have together is we do know how to promote. We do know how to build things. I mean, we took this from nowhere literally 2 years ago, and now we're competing for free agents among the top organizations in the world.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fans are very exciting about Paige joining BKFC. But as with any development in this industry, there are haters. Some people are suggesting that a woman that says, shall we say, photogenic as Paige should perhaps avoid a sport that's as cosmetically damaging as bare knuckle fighting. Now, obviously, their opinions don't matter. Paige's career is Paige's career. BKFC's business dealings are your own. But do you have a response to the haters out there who think this isn't a match made in heaven?
I mean, we're going to see what happens. The thing is she's a great promotional tool. She's a very good fighter. I'm not saying she was set up for failure. I think maybe her last fight she may have been, but in the past, she excelled at stand up. She excelled at punching. She knocked out Bec Rawlings before with a kick. She definitely can fight. And I think that, we're going to see what happens. Look, everybody fears and talks bad about what they don't know. When they get to know it, they're not going to talk bad about it as much. And trust me, the plan we have with Paige VanZant come November, December, whenever she fights is, I think it's going to change a lot of people's opinion on her and her connection with the sport.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that she can fight. She is, of course, a beautiful woman, very popular with the male demographic, but, she has proven that she has amazing technique in the martial arts and also amazing heart. She's leaned on that heart in many of her fights. But, do you feel like she's sometimes, undervalued in those areas because she is, because she does have the looks? And do you think maybe spending some quality time in the BKFC ring will kind of help dispel those misconceptions about her?
Yeah, I mean, she came out yesterday with a statement saying, I want people to know I'm not just a pretty face and that she can fight. And, think about it, Tom, man. A girl like this could have fought in any other organization in the world and made really good money. I think we paid her a little bit more than the other guys, but she could have made great money. But she chose to challenge herself, and she doesn't need to do this. She doesn't need to challenge herself in this way. But I think it's great to be associated with someone that wants to challenge himself and wants to test himself for greatness. I mean, that's how greatness is made, by testing yourself. And she's testing herself here. And I think it's going to take her to another level. And like I said, we're so excited about the partnership, and we call it a partnership because we're both going to help each other's brands grow. And I think it's a match made in heaven. It's going to work. It's a win-win situation for us.
It certainly seems like a match made in heaven to me. Moving on from Paige for a second, I've heard whispers that there could be some other big signings in the future for BKFC. One giant signing in particular. Now, I know you probably want to keep it under wraps, but what's going on? Is it true? Is there another big signing in the works for you guys?
There's two or three, really. It's that time for us. We built the organization. We put on some great fights. We brought some names in. Now it's time to get not guys that are coming out of retirement, but guys that are relevant right now, and guys and girls that are relevant right now and that can really help move the needle for the sport. It's time. We had a great meeting with the team, and the whole team. We always agree on everything before we make a move, and we agree that it's time to make these kind of moves right now. And we're going to show everybody that we belong in the top tier of combat sports.
Expanding on that a bit, you mentioned in an interview with MMA Fighting yesterday, I believe, that you signed 24 female fighters. I think that was the number I read, which is fantastic. Are you able to share the names of any of these women yet, or is it still kind of behind the curtain?
Not yet. I mean, as soon as everything is completely executed and everything, I will. I mean, no major names. Some names that we're negotiating with right now: former boxing world champion, former MMA world champion. We have, the good thing that we're getting, the good rap that we're getting, is that we treat the fighters great. Treat them. I'm not being cliche here by, we're a family atmosphere, but we're a family atmosphere. I mean, my son is director of operations. He does a phenomenal job. Everybody here really gets along. The difference between us, I think, and other organizations is these guys aren't here for a paycheck. They're very passionate about blowing this thing up and being the part of the team that created this great thing that became mainstream. And that's the difference here. And because of that, I think, we all agree on certain things, and now's the time to take that next step. And that's why a lot of these fighters, I think, are moving over to us, because they see, they want to be treated right. I'm not saying they're not treated right at other organizations, so I don't want to put a misconception out there. I'm just saying I know what we do, and we treat them right. I've been in the ring before. I've been in with the best in the world, and I know what it takes to get to that level. And because of that, I think it's why we understand where these fighters are coming from a little more.
Mm-hmm. BKFC recently promoted its first event after a brief hiatus, obviously because of the pandemic that we're dealing with right now. It was a success by all accounts. I would say you crowned a new champion in Luis Palomino. How satisfying was it to kind of get back on track after that prolonged and unexpected break?
It was tremendous. I mean, it was tremendous to get back. It was tremendous to get the fighters fighting again, to get the staff paid, to really get things moving. And we also were one of the first, if not the first, live sporting event in the United States that had fans back in the audience. And that was great. That was just a great atmosphere, seeing, people being locked, if you will, locked away for 3, 4, 5 months. And now they get to come out and watch live sports. It was great for us. It was great. We had a ton of viewers. We went up against some major organizations, and I think we beat them in numbers, which was great for us. And, the company, the sport, the whole thing with Bare Knuckle is just growing.
There must have been quite an atmosphere in the building that night. I'm guessing with everyone had been cooped up for so long. It must have been quite a feeling, I'm sure. Eh?
It was amazing. everybody really had a great time. The fighters were very grateful. They, afterwards, we were confined to the hotel, so they all just hung out in the lobby. It was like the funnest after fight thing we ever did. We didn't go out. We weren't drinking. We just ordered a bunch of pizzas. And everybody was having fun, and it was a great thing for us, man.
Sounds great. Looking ahead, I believe the next event on the BKFC calendar is August 21st, which is rapidly approaching. Are you able to give a quick preview of what we can expect from that event?
Yeah, actually, we're not going to be doing August 21st. Okay. We restructured a few things. September 11th will be our next show. That will be in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're permitted to have a crowd there, so I think we're going to have about 35%, which should be about 3,000 people. Then we're going to move into a smaller series that we're going to be running. It's called Total Line Fight Series. We're going to do that September 26th in Tunica, Mississippi. And then we're going to move back to Wichita for beginning of October. It's either October 9th or October 10th. And then we're going to go to Alabama the 17th of October. And then the big debut for Paige VanZant in November.
Fantastic. You've got some other big debuts coming up. Thiago Alves is taking on Phil Baroni. That's in September, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Any other debuts on the calendar? Shannon Briggs or anything? Anyone in the pipeline?
Shannon Briggs we're talking about for October. We're going to see if he gets himself in shape in time. We have some really, really big other big announcements that hopefully we debut these guys, one or two of these guys this year, but probably in the beginning of next year. We have, it's really a special feeling right now because everybody is so motivated right now. It's crazy. It's like they've been motivated, but then obviously the pandemic put everybody into a weird place in their minds. And the whole team, myself, everybody on the team, the fighters, we're all motivated. They're all calling. And what's even more fantastic is a lot of the girls that are signed with us were texting me and saying, "Great move, boss. Thank you for bringing notoriety to the company with the females." So it's not like any type of animosity. It's all just, how can we move this thing forward? And the team, the staff, and everybody feels the same way, man. It's awesome. And we plan on, on the cocky level now a little bit, we plan on taking on the big guys and seeing where we stand with them. I think that from a place we've only been in business for about a little over 2 years now, and we're being talked about. And, we're being talked about in the same level as some of these other big organizations, which is amazing for us. So, we're just going to keep pushing forward and grow this thing until, we ram it down everybody's throat and everybody in the world knows what Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is all about.
Well, I think you're very well positioned to hang with the big dogs at this point. Circling back to Paige, obviously this signing occurred right when BKFC was kind of ramping back up, and it's drawn a lot of eyes to you guys. The timing has got to feel pretty sweet, pretty convenient, I'm guessing, getting all this extra attention because of Paige right at the precise moment that you're sort of emerging from this break. Do you feel like the stars have sort of aligned a little bit with all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. It did. I mean, we made the right move at the right time. It was, again, it was a well thought out process. We had a great ride with this, with first round management, Malky Kawa going through this whole organization, or this whole system of getting this contract signed, and some other names that we may be working with in the future with him as well. So the timing was great. And like I said, we had a great meeting, and now is the time. Now is the time to strike. So we're going to strike, and we're going to keep striking. And, we're going to make very well calculated decisions. Nothing that, where these guys go, "Oh, these guys are just throwing money out the window. They're going out of business in a year." No, everything that we do is be very well calculated and measured. And we're just going to keep pushing, man. I'm probably more enthusiastic and happier than I've ever been with the success of the organization right now at this point right now today. So it's awesome.
Amazing. Last question for you, David, before I let you go. Looking ahead to this, the next 6 months, the remainder of 2020, I mean, what can fans expect from BKFC? What's the next 6 months going to look like for your organization?
We're going to have 2 shows a month. We're going to have a smaller show and a bigger show. We're going to go international. We're going to do a smaller series in Thailand, actually, the end of October, in the beginning of November, that wasn't included in what we were doing. And then we have some plans to go to a bunch of different countries, but it's just as soon as the world opens up a little more. But in the meantime, we're still going to be doing 2 shows a month. And, we plan on not taking any steps backward. Obviously, we can't control what's going on health-wise in the pandemic. If it sets in even harder that they're predicting, maybe it comes back harder, then we're going to have to take a couple backward steps. But we're just going to keep pushing forward, man. It's good. It's been Obviously, we've only had one event, well, two events now. In 2020, we were planned to do about 18 events, and things got messed up with the pandemic, but we're ready to roll, and we're going to keep rolling right now.
I know I said that was my last question for you, but being that South China Morning Post does kind of have an Asia-centric focus, can you expand on the Thailand plans at all?
Yeah, we're going to be doing. It's going to be like a 3-fight series. The first fight, we're going to have a bunch of fights on there. Then we're going to pick a couple. We're going to pick 4 people in 3 different weight divisions, and then we're going to go into a. We're going to actually do a mini reality show. They're all going to live in a house, and we're going to do another set of fights, and then we're going to narrow down to the championship. So it's going to be a 3-fight series / reality series over there. It's going to be really awesome. But actually, we're talking with China right now. The thing is with the pandemic, I just actually sent a proposal to a group of investors in China yesterday, and they're very enthused. But we're obviously got to wait till everything opens up with international travel. But I think we'll be doing a show in China as soon as everything opens up.
Amazing. BKFC going global. You heard it here first, everyone. David, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on signing Paige VanZant. It's a huge moment for you guys. Best of luck with everything for the rest of the year.
Always great talking to you, Tom. Thank you.
Take care.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP post-fight for all your weekly martial arts news.